Hello and welcome back to this week's video, and today we'll be looking at the resort of Varosha. I love reading about abandoned places. Something about seeing a once bustling man-made area slowly get reclaimed by nature really appeals to me. Plus there's a creepy element to looking at places frozen in their respective time of abandonment. Take for example the disused tube station at Aldwych or the Ukrainian city of Cypriot. The beach resort of Varosha in its peak boasted a population of around 40,000 mainly Greek Cypriot inhabitants. Hard to believe if you look at it now after roughly 40 years of neglect. Originally a suburb and developed into a modern tourist quarter of the medieval city of Famagusta, Varosha had been known as Cyprus's own French Riviera, where the rich and famous were known to take holidays. Richard Burton and Brigitte Bardot are just two of the high-profile visitors to the resort, and the Argo Hotel was known as Elizabeth Taylor's favourite spot on the island. The resort by the early 1970s had many high-rise hotels. Looking at photos of the place back in its prime, it's hard to understand why anyone wouldn't want to spend a couple of sun-soaked weeks lounging on its sandy beaches. But this channel isn't here to try and sell you a package holiday on the Med. It's plainly difficult, where as you may or may not know, I usually tend to talk about interesting history. So let me take you through why this once beautiful, expensive beach resort is now abandoned. And if you were to visit it today, you'd probably have to pack a bulletproof vest. For centuries, the island of Cyprus has been the subject of disagreement between Greece and Turkey. And because of this, there are two main ethnic groups, whom on the most part got on peacefully apart from a few clashes. The two groups began to become more insular and nationalistic during the 20th century, due to the differences in religious beliefs and the tried and tested colonial British method of divide and rule. Cyprus gained its independence from the United Kingdom on the 19th of February 1959, with its official Independence Day taking place on the 1st of October 1960. Many treaties and agreements were made during this time, but one in particular, the Treaty of Guarantee in 1960, funnily enough guaranteed the island's independence. As a quick explanation, the treaty is between the Republic of Cyprus, Greece, Turkey and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and it bans Cyprus from participating in any political union or economic union with any other state. The most important section of this treaty is Article 4, as it reserves the right of the guarantor powers to take back and re-establish the current state of affairs in Cyprus. Remember this for later. In the build-up to the Turkish Invasion of 1974, several intercommunal clashes broke out, most notably during 1963 to 1964 and in 1967, culminating with a Greek-backed coup in 1974. President Archbishop Makarios III was outed, and the Greek irredentist nationalist dictator Nikos Samson was placed as leader of the island by the National Guard on the 15th of July. Believing the coup to be a violation to the Treaty of Guarantee's 4th article, see I told you we'd get back to it, Turkey decided to invade the island 5 days later on the 20th of July 1974. Although this justification has been rejected by the UN and the international community. After 3 days of fighting, a ceasefire had been arranged. By this time nearly 30,000 Turkish soldiers had landed on the island. The Samson regime fell after the collapse of the junta in Greece, thus removing the reason for the Turkish invasion. However, instead of leaving the island, Turkey sent more armed forces on the 14th of August, during the second invasion, and took Morphu, Karpas, Famagusta and the Mesarea. In total, 36% of the island had been claimed by Turkey, displacing around 180,000 Greek Cypriots, roughly 40,000 of which fled the invading soldiers and tanks from Varosha. Now that was a very brief overview of the situation leading up to Varosha's abandonment, and I have missed out a lot of detail, so I highly recommend watching some documentaries on the history of the island, as there are a myriad of reasons as to why the invasion happened. Now why has Varosha not been inhabited by Turkish Cypriots, you might ask? As well, it looks a pretty nice place to chill, but the resort is a victim of geography and politics. Being so close to the Green Line, the resort has been fenced off, with only Turkish soldiers patrolling the area. However, the main reason for the area's deterioration is that Varosha is protected by a 1984 UN Security Council resolution stating that the empty town can only be resettled by its original inhabitants. Because of this, Turkish authorities are barred from moving anyone in, and due to it falling under the Turkish side of the Green Line, there is no will to return it to its original inhabitants. No one has officially ever been allowed into Varosha since its capture, and many of the photos shown on this video are from people who have jumped the fence, potentially risking their life as troops that patrol the area are authorised to use lethal force if they find trespassers. So I wouldn't recommend trying to get in there for a cheeky ghost town selfie. Now, much of the resort has been frozen in time, with new cars, well, new at the time, still in the dealership with mileages as low as 40. Much of the inhabitants did not manage to take any personal belongings with them, so many relics of the 1970s still remain. Varosha has found itself stuck in time, but the years have taken their toll on the resort, as by now buildings stand in a dangerous state of disrepair, meaning that if anyone is to re-inhabit the town, they will need to pull everything down and start again. It seems unlikely that the situation will change, as it's been thought that Varosha will be kept as a bargaining chip in future negotiations. It's probably because of the large estimated cost to rebuild the town that no one's in a rush to really find a resolution. Do you know of any interesting abandoned places, or would you like to go to Varosha yourself? I know I definitely would, albeit if there was a proper legal, less life endangering means to see the resort. And as always, thanks for watching. Did you enjoy the video? I hope you did. If that's the case, leave a like and a comment below. New episodes are released every Thursday, and the best way to see them is via subscription. You can help the channel grow by sharing videos with your friends, and there's also a Patreon link down below if you fancy financially supporting the channel. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.